After kicking off my Copenhagen half marathon block in Dubai and doing the first 4.5 weeks there, I am currently training in much cooler conditions in Riga. This means I should be able to increase the overall intensity and pace in my workouts. And between you and me, I really hope that it will be the case. Right now, I don't have a Scooby of what shape I'm in and what I can aim for in Copenhagen. Hopefully, the summer of suffering is now over and we're moving on to the summer of speed, because with about 6 weeks to go until Copenhagen half, now it's time to take it up a notch. I talked about it in the previous vlog, but my volume in Dubai for the first few weeks of this block was quite good, 100 to 108 kilometers. I don't want to go that much higher, I'm quite happy with that, but I do need to sharpen up and pick up the pace in the workouts now that I'm no longer training in hot and humid conditions. Right, it is 5:48 in the morning. I've got a session today. This will be interesting because it's a session that I've done many times. It is the good old 4x3 minutes, 4x2 minutes, 4x1 minutes, 4x30 seconds, starting at half marathon effort and then 10k effort, 5k effort, and then sub 5k effort. And what I would like to see really is similar paces, kind of like in the same ballpark as the last time I did this session when I was in a proper half marathon training block, which would have been October last year. And usually I don't really do that, you know, I don't go back and check my paces that I was doing on a certain session at a certain time in the past, because I don't think one session will give you, all the answers. But right now, I just need something to give me some clues, right? So I want to see where I'm at right now compared to last time I properly prepared for a half marathon would have been before Valencia half, which was in October last year, where I ran 81:30 or 81:29, which is my current half marathon PB. So if today I'm completely off the mark in terms of pacing versus what I was doing last year when I was half marathon training, then I'll be a little disheartened. So yeah, let's see. Windy. Hopefully not gonna be as windy around the loop that I picked for today's workout. That's the warm-up done, well, almost done. I'm gonna do a couple strides before I start. So that was about 3.8k to run to that spot. A bit windy, but nowhere near as bad as when I was running just next to the big open body of water. I was rather tempted to wear carbon shoes today, but didn't do it. I went with my Saucony Endorphin Speed 4, which have a plate, but it's an nylon plate, so it's, not the same. Right, some strides and let's crack on. 4x3 minutes, done. I think the pace was alright, like in the low 350s. Like I'm kind of slow on those 2-minute reps, like not a huge pace difference compared to the 3 minutes. I've got one more 2-minute rep to do and then 4x1 minute. I think that last one I was a tad faster, maybe. I can't seem to be going sub 340 for those 1-minute reps, which I should be doing for 5k effort. But no, I'm in the 340 still. And to think that I only have 6 weeks until Copenhagen half. Oh my gosh. Right, the 30-second reps were okay. Not, crazy fast, but alright. And now cooling down, running back home. I'll have a proper look and do a proper debrief back inside later. Right, so I went back to last year's training plan when I was training for Valencia half, and I found the session October 2025, same as this morning, except last year, weirdly, I didn't do the 4x30 seconds, which, yeah, it's weird because usually this session always finishes with 4x30 seconds. Anyway, so we're going to compare the 3-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute reps. I'm going to put the paces side by side, October last year and this morning. So we can see that for the 3-minute reps at half marathon effort, I was a little faster this year, not by much, just a touch. The 2-minute reps at 10k effort, not too dissimilar, but I think on the whole, a touch faster last year. And this morning, I was a bit disheartened because I would have wanted and expected and hoped to see more like low 340, like 342, 343 ml per K. For the 1 minute reps at 5K effort, well, I ran them faster last year. Last year, I was sub 340 ml per K, which was really a struggle. Today, actually, there's only one rep that I manage in the 330 ml per K for the 1 minute reps. And so far, this block, mainly due to my training location being Dubai, I did more work around tempo/half marathon effort than I did closer to my top end speed, like 5K effort. I've barely touched, basically. So this checks out with the 3 minute reps where I was doing all right. That also shows that when I try to pick up the pace and run faster reps, the speed isn't really there at the moment. Actually, I should mention that the reason why I was kind of expecting the 2 minute reps to be a little faster is because earlier this week, Tuesday, I did a double threshold session. My afternoon session was 10 by 400 meters at 10K effort. And okay, the reps were shorter than 2 minutes long, but my average pace for those reps was 344 minutes per K. So, you know, a touch faster, at least sub 345 minutes per K. So I guess this morning, after 12 minutes of half marathon effort, I had built some fatigue, and it showed in the shorter reps where I should have been able to pick up the pace a bit more. The loop I was on this morning wasn't perfect, not completely flat. There were a couple short rises, but I also don't think that it would have had a huge impact. I think the impact of that would have been very minimal. I'm telling myself that one session doesn't tell the full story, but it kind of also confirms what I was suspecting, which is on the spectrum of paces, I'm doing all right on the half marathon tempo side of things. But on the other side, on the faster paces, that's where I've lost some ground. And yes, okay, I'm training for a half marathon, but I also think that regardless of the distance you're training for, you still need to focus on the other pace ranges. And when you're training for a half marathon, you still need to focus on the faster paces. And, you know, in my previous half marathon blocks, when I would race a 5K, I would either run very close to my PB or run a new 5K PB. Like last year when I was training for Copenhagen and Valencia Half, I ran the Mid-Cheshire 5K, 17:52. That was quite a big PB that I ran in the middle of the block. Right now, if I were to run a 5K, I really don't think I would get anywhere close to my PB. Like, I'm pretty convinced of that. We talked about it with Ben, and we think that for the second half of this block, we're going to park the double threshold for now, and we're going to put more emphasis on faster intervals, like more work around 5K efforts. That's what we think we're going to do. It is now the next morning. I have just finished my run. Easy 40 minutes today. Originally, I was meant to run an hour, but we realized that my volume was going to be a fair bit higher than anticipated if I were to do the full hour today. That extra volume that kind of like added up through the week, that's mostly because to get to the good workout spots, it's about 4 kilometers from where we are staying. Yeah, you're basically already at 8K of warm-up and cool-down on a session day, which is pretty much what happened yesterday, and I ended up running 18 kilometers total. And the next key run will be tomorrow. It's going to be a long run workout. Those are mission critical. Those hard long runs, they're really the ones I want to focus on. You know, it's usually the pillar of my half marathon training. It is not something I've done a lot of this year, especially not in the past couple months in Dubai. Trying to do a long run was hard enough in itself. So now that we're in Riga, you know, they are back on the schedule. I did one last weekend when we had just got here. It went so well. I was absolutely delighted. It was 25 kilometers, 8K easy, 8K on the fast end of my steady pace, 5K around marathon effort, and then the rest easy. I wasn't desperate for water. I didn't feel like it took a lot out of me. I felt pretty good when I finished. Like, it was amazing. And I really hope tomorrow is going to be the same experience. I think it's 24K this time, but the pace will progress to being a little faster than what I did last weekend. So we'll see how that goes. One thing I need to be careful about is not try and overdo it and almost not try to like panic train, because I'm so nervous about my lack of long run workouts. Right now it could be very tempting to like want to double down and overdo it and almost run my racing training, which I shouldn't do. When I saw the long run and the paces, my first reaction was like, oh, this should be faster. And I had to remind myself, like the previous years when I was half marathon training and running PBs in races, during my long runs, I was not touching race pace at all, like maybe just 5 minutes of around half marathon race pace in a 2-hour long run, just a couple times. I don't really know if I'm making sense right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, I need to increase the intensity, pick up the pace in interval sessions, but I also don't need to overdo it, cook myself in the long runs, because that would probably not be helpful. So I need to choose the process, but yeah, it's a little hard. I just got to the park where I'm gonna do the effort on this long run, same as last week. So I've got 1 more K at easy pace, and then I'm gonna pick it up and move on to steady pace for 5K. Sorry guys, I barely said anything during this run, but it was a bit of a battle with my head, to be honest. I don't know why I kept telling myself that I wouldn't hit the paces today. So yes, I didn't really film a lot. I was just trying to focus on getting it done. So after the first 8K at easy pace, it was 5K on the first end of my steady pace, which I did, and then 5K around marathon effort, so 4:10 to 4:15 minutes per K. Also did that. And then the last 2K was the bit I was the most nervous about. It was 2K tempo, so ideally 3:55 to 4 minutes per K. And I did it, and when I realized that I was hitting this pace, I was sub 4 minutes per K, I felt in control. So finally, I started to enjoy myself on this long run, and I had a big smile on my face, and I was like, okay, this is good. And then I did the last 4K at easy pace. That's 24 kilometers for today's run. Such a lovely sunny morning. I went on a little stroll in the old town, grabbed myself a coffee. So that is another week of training complete, just shy of 110 kilometers this week. And guys, like, I can't tell you how relieved I am that today's long run went so well. Like, I feel really good about it. And today we're going out for lunch. We're going to an Italian restaurant. We actually went there last Sunday and it was so good. We said, right, let's just go again next weekend. I'm going to a spa this afternoon, which I'm also really excited about. So really good way to end the week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one. Bye!